California at the Hilton Hotel as we prepare for the Get Motivated seminar that I'm on with Les Brown. We're doing a tour around America. And so I've been flying all day, and it's been challenging and tiring, but I wanted to make sure I got something online for you since I was unable to do it last week because of my travel schedule, and maybe even the last 2 weeks because of travel schedule. So I said something's going to happen today, even if from my hotel room, where I can get a moment to speak to you and say greetings. You know, we do this every week, or as often as my schedule will allow, to try and inspire and encourage you that you can live better and achieve more. And this is good news, jolly good news. So I ask two things every week from you. I ask one, that you'll share this with friends and family members and people in your network, that we're going to do Monday School as a faith-based message or lesson on how to live better and achieve more using biblical principles. And it is on Monday nights, like Sunday school, but on Mondays. And second, I ask you to go to jollygoodnews.org and make a donation, whatever this can, if it blesses you, make whatever donation you feel to make. We appreciate it. We have some goals that we're trying to achieve. One of those goals is to get my book, A Setback as a Setup for a Comeback into Every Prison in America, and to try and stop the tide of those who go to prison from coming out and going right back to prison. So we want to impact the recidivism rate by changing their thinking. Your mindset determines your actions, and your actions determine the results you get in your life. So we want to start to change that by putting some audio books as well as some physical books into the prisons, and say to these folks who may have never heard a motivational message. You know, I've heard so many people who have never heard a motivational seminar, who've never had anything but negative influences and negative input. But remember, your input determines your output. So we want to change the input so that we can change the output. So first is to get that book into every prison in the audio version as well as the physical version. Second is to put my youth video, Dare to Dream, Dare to Win, into every school in America. Oh, that hand you just saw was the hand of my son. He's here in here in Los Angeles. He's here with us, and my beautiful bride is over there. You see, there she is. Okay, there. So this is a family affair. So we're here in Los Angeles. My son is here. He was here for the National Bar Association convention, and he stayed so he could hang out with us. And my wife, as you know, travels with me. If you've ever heard me speak, you know I talk about my bride everywhere we go. So make a donation. Go to jollygoodnews.org. Make a donation, whatever you can afford to do, or whatever this blesses you with, these kind of program, these kind of messages. And also I encourage you to go to our Facebook page so you can get a positive motivational message every day. So Willie Jolley's Facebook page, just join in, listen to the messages. Many of you listen to me on WHUR radio every morning in Washington, D.C., or as many people around the country listen to WHUR.com so they can hear my message every morning about 5:50 every morning. Early birds catch the worm. And then many of you listen to me on Sirius XM every Saturday at 4 Eastern, Monday mornings at 8 Eastern, and Wednesday mornings at 11 Eastern. And so go and listen to those messages and get this information. I want to share with you something that I think is profoundly impactful, and I've learned this week about my pastor sharing it, and it was right along with what I was experiencing. You know, I often tell you, and I've told people in my audiences, that Romans 8:28, for all things, and I said to y'all, I think a couple weeks ago, for all things, comma, for we know, comma, that all things work together for good for them that love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. For we know. How do we know? We know because of experiences we have that impact our lives, that we say, wow, can you? So I had an experience at my church, First Baptist Church of Glenarden, on one of the Sundays there that I was there. And it was a profound experience to help me remember before we know. So what happened was, we have a ministry of altar counselors, people who come to the altar to counsel those who have made a decision to either accept the Lord or have decided to join the church, or those who just need reinforcement or need prayer. So I am on the ministry staff because I am a licensed minister, even though I make my living as a motivational speaker. And when I'm there for the services, I come down to participate. Now, the order of involvement starts with ministers first, then deacons, then parishioners who are altar counselors who've been through the altar counselor training. Well, this one Sunday, the pastor gives a call to Christ. He tells people to come if you need to come. And I popped up to be one of the helpers at the altar because I'm minister, first level, first line of involvement. But before I could get to the guy, one of the parishioners or a deacon, I can't remember which one it was, he waved me off. He said, no, I got it. I said, but, inside I'm saying, I took it easy, but inside I'm saying, but the ministers are supposed to do the first line. That's the way we've been taught. That's what we've been asked. Why would I get waved off? And I was not angry or upset. I was just a little taken aback because this was not the regular protocol. But I didn't let it bother me. I just kind of sat there and waited for the next person. And he had finished the altar call. And I said, well, I guess I won't counsel anybody today. And then he said, you know what? The pastor said, my spirit says there's some more people who need to come. And he said, I'm going to open the altar one more time because my spirit is telling me that somebody else needs to come. And another group of people came, and a young man came, and I went up to the young man. I put my hand on his shoulder and said, I'll be your altar counselor. And he said, great. Well, we go back in the altar counseling room, and the young man says, I'm just visiting. But I need to know the Lord for myself. I said, how old are you? He said, I'm 15. I said, okay, great. And so we read through scriptures, and I lead him through the prayer of faith and the Romans road. And I give him what I call my ABCs. A, do you accept? B, do you believe? And C, do you confess? If you can accept, B, believe, and confess, you can be saved according to Romans 10 and 9. And so it was at that moment that I finished talking and leading him through the process. And then he said, well, as I said, I'm visiting. I said, would you like to join the church? No, because I'm visiting. I live way out in Virginia. I just happened to be visiting a friend for his birthday. And I never come this way because we don't have a reliable transportation. My mother had to move out here for her job. And we don't have reliable transportation, so we don't come in quite often. I said, okay. He said, oh, but I don't have an address, a solid address, because we are moving all the time. But I can give you my grandmother's address. I said, okay, give me your grandmother's address. He said, my grandmother lives at 5700 Colorado Avenue. Now, 5700 Colorado Avenue is 1 block from my house. I said, now I see how all things work together for good. I said, you know what? I wasn't meant to counsel that first guy. I was meant to counsel you because I'm the only one in my whole church who lives in our neighborhood. So I was meant to be there. He said, I come to my grandmother's often. I said, what you can do is you can call me when you come into your grandmother's and you can ride to church with me. He said, that would be fantastic. And it was in that moment that I realized that all things work together for good for them that love the Lord. For we know that. How do we know that? By the experiences of what we've had in the past. So you have to have the faith to trust it. Trust God that he's working it together for your good. You don't always see. He can't see, but he sees from 30,000 feet. He can see around the corner. He knows what's coming down the street. And if you have the faith to keep believing, and even when things overboard bad, as I said, my pastor taught a sermon that tied right into this message of Romans 8:28, for we know that all things work together for good for them that love the Lord, that are called according to his purpose. He shared a message from James, the 1st chapter, where it says, count it all joy when you fall into diverse situations. For it is the working of those situations, the testing of your faith, that produces patience. And the patience is not what we typically think of in the Webster Dictionary. Patience is the patience of the Lord, where he will work it in perfect patience and perfect that patience, where you'll be able to understand that God is working things together for your good. So when things look like they're crazy in your life, you just say, God's working something good in my life. When things don't go the way you plan, God is working something. I'll count it all joy because he's working all things together for my good. And if you'll take this lesson and this message and you will use it, it will have an impact on your life. It'll have an impact on your work. It'll have an impact on your job. It'll have an impact on every part of your life. So that's my message here today. It's a short message because we have a short time before I have to run to my next event. But I said, I got to speak to you today so that you would have this message in your heart, in your spirit. Now, I would like to ask you to do me a favor. Beyond the favor of telling your friends about this and beyond the favor of going to Jolly Good News and making a donation so we can hit these goals, I'd like you to send me an email. Let me know if you're enjoying these messages. Are these the right length? You like them light, longer, shorter? Tell me. I need feedback from you because it's not like you're talking to me and getting me back and forth dialogue. So if you send me an email at info, INF as in Frank O, at williejolly.com, info@williejolly.com, and say, hey, I'm loving it. I like it. I like the length of it. You know, is Monday at 8 o'clock work for you? Just give me some deep feedback. Or we're trying to get confirmation and information from you. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to listen. Remember, for we know that all things, not a few things, not a couple of things, not once in a while things, that all things work together for good for them that love the Lord and are the called according to his purposes. And we also know that you should count it all joy, because it is through these situations that you're getting perfected on how to trust God better and to impact your faith, to build the muscle of faith. Because if you don't use it, you'll never build it. Well, God bless you. Have a great day, great week. If you're in the Los Angeles area, I'll see you tomorrow at the Get Motivated seminar, where we'll be here at the convention center. And if you're not in Los Angeles, go to getmotivated.com and see when we're coming to a city near you. And then also make sure you go to Jolly Good News and look at some of the videos, also the messages we've put there for you, absolutely free, to just be a blessing to you. Have a great day. Thank you for your time, and I'll look forward to talking to you next week, hopefully. All right, God bless you. Bye-bye.